I'm going to show you the 4 pointers to help you steer clear of the pitfalls of PLR. Number 1, fact checking. The goal is to be an authority in your niche. Always fact check your content, period. Number 2, plagiarism. How to identify plagiarism and keep you from getting caught using other people's content. Number 3, duplicate content penalty. Easy to avoid if you actually know what duplicate content is, and I will tell you. Number 4, adhering to the PLR license. The terms state that you can sell the content as your own. However, you can't actually sell it as your own PLR. Now at this time, I'd like you to go down below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. By the way, my name is Dale Anderson from WanderBlueprint.com. I show people just like you how to start making money online. At this time, go down below and click the subscribe button. And while you're at it, click the link, WanderBlueprint.com. Avoid these 4 PLR or white label pitfalls. PLR or white label content can be a lifesaver when you are short on time or you just hate writing. PLR done for you content can be used on your blogs, or you can bundle them and sell them as your own product. If you are a beginner to online marketing, PLR can shortcut your journey and help you making money sales in record time. The 4 pointers below will help you steer clear of the pitfalls of PLR. Number 1 is fact checking. Now here's a brutal truth. Not all PLR is made equal, and not all PLR vendors are reputable. There are 2 types of PLR vendors. The first type are not just marketers, but are writers at heart. These vendors do most of their own research and write almost all of their PLR. So you can expect consistency and quality in their content. It's usually safe to purchase PLR from these vendors. The second type are PLR vendors who are only in the business for the money. They outsource the writing to cheap writers on freelance sites. The content is then cobbled together, given a pretty sales page, and sold as a best thing to slice bread. Freelancers are on the clock. The more they write and the more gigs they accept, the more money they make. This immediately puts a constraint on their time. Guess where they cut corners on. If you said research, you're absolutely right. The problem here is that you never really know if the facts are accurate. There is so much misinformation online that fake news has become the norm. Why doesn't the PLR seller hire better writers? The answer is simple. Better writers cost more, and this eats into the profit margins. So they go to the cheap ones. If you're in the health niche and you're using PLR content, it's especially important to cross-check all the facts. You don't want to be dishing out inaccurate information. The goal is to be an authority in your niche. Always fact-check your content, period. Number 2, plagiarism. Another common practice by third-rate freelancers is to just rip off content from different sites and squash them together to form their own article. Once again, the writers are either hard-pressed for time or they're just lazy and looking for shortcuts. Run your content through a site like copyscape.com to see if your PLR content is plagiarized. Note that since others may have used the same PLR as you, several results may show up. This is not plagiarism. You'll notice that their content is almost the same as your PLR content because they've used the same PLR. What you should be looking for are sentences and paragraphs that show up oddly on sites where the rest of the content is totally different. When you see such results, almost always the writer has either plagiarized the content or is using a content scraping software to create the content. At this time, I'd like you to go down below to the content block and click the link down there. You may very well be interested in what I am offering. Please click that link now and take a look. Number 3, duplicate content penalty. A duplicate content penalty occurs when you're not organized with your PLR content. There are so many misconceptions about this penalty. Let me keep things simple. Using private label rights content will not get you penalized by Google. It just doesn't work that way. If it did, all the syndicated news sites, etc., would be penalized for using the same content. You only get penalized by Google for duplicate content when several of your blog posts contain the exact same content. Google thinks you're trying to game the system and rank your site higher. For example, if you take a specific PLR article that you have and come up with 3 catchy titles for that article and post that same article 3 times on your blog, now you have duplicate content. You're only changing the title of the article, but the rest of the content is the same. Some marketers do this intentionally, thinking they will get away with it. They won't. And others accidentally make a mistake because they're disorganized and don't know which PLR content they've already used and which they haven't. So, keep a separate folder for content that you've already used on your sites. This will prevent you from being hit with the duplicate content penalty. Number 4, adhering to the PLR license. So many PLR buyers just can't seem to understand the license terms that come with the PLR packages they purchase. Well, the terms state that you can sell the content as your own. You can't actually sell it as your own PLR. It's easy to get confused here. What the terms really mean is that you'll need to convert the PLR into a final product, personalize it, and sell it as a unique product to the end consumer. You can't sell it as your own PLR content because that's the original vendor's job. Be clear about the license terms when using your PLR so that you don't step on anyone's toes. If in doubt, always seek clarification from the vendor. Keep these 4 points in mind whenever you purchase or use PLR. It's best to err on the side of caution. Now in this video I showed you 4 pitfalls of PLR. And these are the downside things about PLR, but they can be overcome. Now the first one was fact-checking. When you read or listen to PLR, you should be familiar enough with a subject matter that you can say, this sounds good, or, I didn't realize that, and do a little fact-checking. And of course, the easiest way is go to Google and do a search and watch what people are saying and see how it compares to your PLR. Now, the second thing was plagiarism. In other words, ripping off other people. You can go to Copyscape. That's copyscape.com, and put your material in and see if it's elsewhere on the internet. Some of them will be legitimate because other people will buy your PLR, but if you find someplace else that just doesn't add up, check it out. Now, duplicate content. This is something I see argued about all the time. And it's really quite simple. Don't put the same thing up twice on your own website. Pretty simple, huh? Because there is no such thing as duplicate content penalty by Google. Otherwise, everybody that had the U.S. Constitution on their website would be in trouble. Everybody that had Bible scripture would be in trouble. But they're not. As long as they don't run the same thing twice on their blogs, let's say, there's no problem. Number 4, adhering to PLR terms. Now, you can buy PLR with resale rights. I don't like that because usually they pack in a bunch of their own links. I buy PLR or white label products. That way I can modify it any way I want, and I'm okay. The terms are simple. I cannot pass on the source files, which means I can put anything up there in a PDF, but I cannot add the pages or WordPress. It'll be fine with PLR. Now at this time, I'd like to go down below and in the content box, click on the link, wanderblueprint.com.